Good evening, President Kelly, Board, Dr. Mendenhall. I'd like to first ask Brianna Barker to come on up here. I'm going to make her stand up here while I do this. I could see what you were saying under your breath, Brianna. Brianna is a senior on our swimming team, and I wanted to go through real quickly kind of a quick bio for her. As a freshman, she won the 100 freestyle, was state champion. As a sophomore, she was the state champion in the 50 and the 100 freestyle. As a junior, she was a state champion in the 50 and the 100 freestyle. And as her senior year, we were kind of worried because she was dealing with a shoulder problem most of the year, but she worked through it and went on and won the state championship in the 50 and the 100 as a senior for 7 state championships in her career. Brianna Barker. And her mom and dad are in the back, Chris Barker and June Barker. They'll wave. We tried to get one more year out of her, but we couldn't.
Squeeze one more. Congratulations. Good luck to you.
I noticed her dad had a KU jacket on.
Is there any significance?
In fact, I have a note for that. She did sign a scholarship with the University of Kansas and will be swimming there this next year. Next, I would like to, I can't even begin to tell you how proud, or even put in words how proud I am of our wrestling program, our coaches, our student athletes, our families, because it takes so much to go to where they went to this year. But I'm going to let our head coach of our wrestling program come up and tell you about the wrestling program, Coach Sean Jones.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks, board. Thanks, Dr. Mendenhall. Standing up here tonight, I've got these 11 young men. They're the qualifiers for Broken Arrow in the state wrestling tournament. I'm very proud of them. You know, some of the goals we set this year are in academics, dual state regionals, and then ultimately to be the state wrestling champions. In academics, at the first of the year, looking at these guys' grades, I knew that there was a possibility for us to be able to qualify for the the academic state championships. You have to have a 3.25 grade average. When I put our regional team together, we had a 3.27. And so we qualified and didn't really know where that was going to get us, but at the state tournament, they recognized the state champion. It was a 3.53, so we're right there. And so it's the first year that we've been able to apply for that, and that's something in the future that we're looking forward to and also trying to win. The dual state championship is our second goal. These last 3 happened in the last 3 weeks of February. And that's what we train. We train as soon as the wrestling season is over, and we start working for that next year. And we try to be at our freshest, we try to be at our highest level in those last 3 weeks of February. And this year at the Dual State Wrestling Championships, you've got 14 matches in a duel, and we wrestled 13 matches. The score was 27-26. It came down to the very last match, and people were like, that last match is the one. No, there was we lost 3 out of 4 overtime matches. And the pretty guy in the pink over there happened to wrestle the very last match. And it was against a good 220-pounder, and it was double overtime, and we got beaten. I think the final dual score was 29-27. And, we wrestled Stillwater twice this year, and it was probably the greatest high school competitions I'd ever been a part of. The first one came down to some controversy, but we lost it. The dual state was nip and tuck all the way to the 14th match, and we lost it. And looked at the kids after that was over and said, that's behind us, and it hurts. I know it hurts all of us because that was one of our goals that we tried to achieve and didn't quite get there. The regional tournament is important to us because you can't win a state tournament without qualifying your kids, putting your kids in that state wrestling tournament. And for the 7th or 8th year in a row. We won the regional championships this year, and the 11 qualifiers are standing here. And ultimately, the greatest goal is to win a state championship. It's the last competition of the year. And every year, every season, we point towards that last weekend in February to win that championship. And so before I give away the ending and talk about it, I'd like to bring up kind of each individual and talk about this first young man, Tyler Lawley. Step up here, Tyler. Tyler is a sophomore. The improvement that he showed over the year was incredible. I mean, he was getting beat by kids the first year that he was beating in the regional semifinals. And so Tyler is a great kid. He's a great student. And Tyler Lawley took 3rd in the state this year. He said 4th, but I like 3rd better. Nobody else knows better. Next young man, Tewan, step up, please. It always takes Tewan till the end of the year to perform at his best. And he had a great competition between him and another kid this year in the rest of the room that they were ranking. They were trying to earn the position on the team. And I think Tewan settled that at Bishop Kelly. He's a sophomore. He's a 2-time state qualifier. Looking for him to get on the podium next year to win a state championship for us is Tewan Daniels. It's tough. It's tough to get into this level of competition at any grade. But when you're a freshman, it's really hard. And we've been kind of eyeballing this kid for quite some time. He's come up through our junior high ranks. We knew he was going to be a good one. And for him to qualify and win a match at the state wrestling tournament and score points for us was huge. And that is freshman Caleb Wise. Come over here. He's a cute little boy, isn't he? You have to experience it. You have to be there. And as a sophomore, this kid got to go to the state wrestling tournament. You know, one of the phrases and the things that we describe, he freezes up like a deer in the headlights. He's a great athlete, and he can do amazing things when he relaxes. And he qualified as a sophomore, and he went there this year to the state wrestling tournament and did it again, first round. And I'm glad I couldn't find him. I would love to have words with him about his performance in that first round, because I just knew that he had more than that. He could do better than that. And he was beat in the first round by a kid from UConn. And finally settles down, and he battles back, and he wrestles the very same kid for 3rd and 4th in the state, and almost major decisions. He almost scores more than 7 points, 8 points on him. And he's a junior, and he's back. He took 3rd in the state this year. It's Isaiah Page. Good job. Come here, Skylar. Skylar Haynes is a 15-year-old kid, and all year long, people, and he looks a lot better in this in a wrestling singlet. And he's 15 years old, and people all year long was, where'd that kid come from? Where's that kid? You know, he was like 152 pounds last year. By the end of the year, he was having trouble making 182 pounds, and had a great season as a sophomore, and finished as the state's runner-up at 182 pounds. And Skylar Haynes. Trent Lawrence. Come here, Trent. Trent Lawrence is also one of the major wrestling sites was looking at our state wrestling tournament, looking at the weights in it, and heavyweight. He's a heavyweight, by the way. If anybody can't tell, he's heavyweight was the toughest weight they said in the nation. And as a sophomore, Trent navigated his way through it and was able to finish 4th against. I mean, there's a couple guys that are going to Division I football. A couple guys. I mean, it was a extremely athletic weight. And as a sophomore, we're expecting him to get higher on the platform and win a state championship next year. I think all those guys graduated, right, Trent? is Trent Lawrence. Figured out how to do this. Quit wrestling as a 7th grader and start playing baseball. And don't ever come back to wrestling until your senior year. And then, voila, you go win a state wrestling title. And that's exactly what this young man did. He came back this year and kind of had a slow start and kind of got things rolling, kind of got things in the right direction, and then happened to have somebody move out of his weight class was a big deal. And he kind of got to think, you know, I could be a state champion. And after a 4-year absence from wrestling and just playing baseball, Christian, step out. This young man comes in the restroom this year, and at the end of his senior year, he wins the 160-pound weight class and is a state champion. Proud of him. Christian. Two guys are real special here, and I'll do it one at a time. Peyton Bailey, you can step out. Peyton Bailey is part of a wrestling legacy. His family, his father won state championships. His brother has won state championships. His middle brother's won state championships. And he's been in the state finals 2 times previous to this. And, you know, you want to talk about, he's a senior, he's graduating. You talk about pressure on me and our coaching staff to get this guy a state wrestling championship and follow the Bailey legacy. He's had an incredible high school career. Like I said, he's been in the state finals 3 times, and the most beautiful thing, he ended it with a pin in the state finals. This is Peyton Bailey. Stephen Allen. I'm so glad Stephen got his hair fixed. This is Stephen Allen, and first time I met Stephen Allen, really started competing for us, was as a freshman. And he came in and wrestled in a real important match in the dual states for us. And kind of the first time I got to see him, I think his freshman record, he wrestled maybe 4 times for us. Sophomore, he jumps in the lineup, and the work ethic, the extra things that Stephen's done throughout his high school career has put him in a position for me to recognize him as one of our last people, because he ended his senior year, I believe, with, 2 losses? 2 losses. The record probably 36, 37-2. The only 2 times he was beaten was in the national tournament we go to in Ohio. He demolished all the Oklahoma competition, and he stands before us tonight as the 195-pound state champion, Stephen Allen. A kid is a 2-time champion. He was a 2-time champion, and his junior year, what people don't understand, at one point in time, he was ranked like number 1 or number 2 in the nation. And he's got a nemesis on I-40 in Oklahoma City, and his name is Boo Llewellyn, and he's wrestled Boo his entire life, but Boo Llewellyn's pretty good too. And probably the most highlighted match of the state wrestling tournament was Davian. Go ahead and step out, Davian. Davian Jeffries. They've had battles back and forth. Davian is committed and going to the University of Oklahoma to continue to wrestle. He's a 2-time state champion. He's a 2-time runner-up, and we're very proud of him. And last but not least, today we're ordering rings and we're fitting rings, and I told everybody Friday that you got to bring your deposit, you got to do. And of course, it's pretty typical. Pup, step out. Pretty typical of Pup Simmons to, I didn't hear that and I didn't do that. But this young man has had a stellar high school career. He's a 3-time state champion. He's a 1-time runner-up. He's committed to go to Iowa State University next year and continue his wrestling. And I hope by the end of the year that he remembers to do something that I asked him to do the first time. I asked him to do it. And so very proud of this young man and his pup, Marcus Pup Simmons. Thank you for having us here this evening. And guys, come, let's shake the board's hand. We're done.